Hello everybody in Algebra 1, this is Mrs. Metler here with the first of some videos I'm going to post for you guys to help you learn during this continuous learning process. Today we're going to start with graphing inequalities. This first video is just going to be about graphing one inequality, and I'm going to post a second video about graphing systems of inequalities. Then you can go ahead and do the optional homework, which is also on the Google Classroom. So we're going to start by reviewing basically solid and dashed lines. Remember, there are four types of inequality symbols: less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than, and greater than. When we did these on number lines, we had closed circles for these two symbols, and we had open circles for these two. That goes along exactly with how we're going to graph them as lines as well. The symbols that have an equal to are going to be solid, and the symbols without are going to be dashed. Now remember a few things. There are two different ways we can write linear equations. One is called general form, or your mama's Xbox, and one is called standard form. We can do both of these with inequalities. All we do is replace the equal sign with an inequality symbol. So if we look at our first example, this is in general form because it's y equals mx plus b. If you remember, m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Okay, so those two are important for graphing lines. So we're going to go ahead and get started, jump right into it. We're going to label our slope and our y-intercept. So I want you to think about which one's which. 2 is going to be our slope because it's in front of x, and -4 is going to be our y-intercept. So just like we used to do, we're going to start at -4. We're going to put a dot, and we're going to use our slope to continue. We're going to go up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. And we're going to continue that process until we feel like we have a pretty good line. Now, in order to actually connect these dots, we need to think about solid and dashed. This is a greater than symbol. It is a dashed line. So when you connect your dots, you are going to dash between them. Okay, so that is now our line, and now we are going to shade up or down depending. So since this is a greater than, we want y values bigger than our y-intercept. If you think about it, a number greater than -4 would be like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So we're going to shade above our line. Okay? And that's an inequality. When we come over here, this is in standard form. We don't graph in standard form. The way we graph is we convert standard form into general form. So we're going to do that off to the side here first. Notice on general form, y is by itself. So we want to get y by itself over here as well. So I used to show you guys, like, put a box around it. That's what we're trying to get alone. That's what we're solving for. So the way we're going to solve first is we're going to move everything that's not y. So I'm going to subtract 6x first. Remember, this cancels. I'm going to bring down my 3y, bring down my symbol, and I'm going to have 12 minus 6x. From here, you can see that y is still not by itself. We're going to have to divide. And when I divide, I'm going to divide everything by 3. So this 3 cancels. 12 divided by 3 is 4. -6 divided by 3 is -2. Now, we could rewrite this and have y is less than or equal to -2x plus 4. But either way, you can see that the slope is still in front of x. It's -2. And then 4 is by itself, so it's the y-intercept. So this is kind of opposite what we just did. We're going to start at +4 And we're going to go down to over 1 because our slope is negative. So I'm going to connect as many as I can to create a line. And then we want to look at solid or dashed. So this is a less than or equal to, so it's going to be a solid line. So I'm going to go ahead and connect those dots. And then I'm going to shade. So I want y values smaller than 4. So I'm a less than, so I'm going to shade below. Shading is an important part. You can't forget about it. So now I've got a word problem for us to think about. So if Carolina wants to go to the movies this afternoon, she wants to bring her friends with her, and she has decided to pay for her friends and any snacks they purchase. Carolina has $90. Okay, just like we used to do, let's underline the numbers. Movie tickets cost $9 and snacks cost $5. It says write an inequality, not an equation, that shows how many movie tickets and snacks she can buy. So we have a total, an x and a y. That's going to tell us that we're going to write in standard form because standard form always uses some sort of total. She has $90, so that's going to be what our equation equals. We know that movie tickets cost $9. So when we think about x, we're going to do 9 times x to get the total amount of money she's spending on movie tickets. Plus, and then snacks cost $5, so she's going to have 5y. And she only has $90. So we need to think about what goes in the middle here. We want to be under $90. We can be equal to it, but we want to be under it. So I'm going to put a less than or equal to. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to graph this now. This is in standard form, like I said, so we need to convert it to general. So in order to convert this to general form, I need to get my y by itself. If I am doing that, I need to move everything over but the y. So I'm going to start by subtracting 9x, bringing everything down, and then dividing by 5. Now, when you do this, 90 divides by 5 pretty easily, 18, but 9 does not divide by 5, and that is okay. So we can leave it as a fraction. When we do this, we can rewrite this, putting the slope in front, and then our y-intercept on the end. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to now graph this. So our y-intercept is 18, so I'm going to start at 18. Notice my slope is negative 9 over 5. So when I go down 9 over 5, you see how my graph has the same labels on both? So I'm going to go down 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am going to connect the dots with a solid. And then I'm going to shade. So it is a less than symbol, which means I want to be underneath, which makes sense. We don't want to be over $90. So we're going to shade down here. And any of these points down here would be a solution. So that's our first part of inequalities. Tune in for part 2.